All eyes on Doge. Big run up to the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big run up to the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.60. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin.
Hey everybody, Kriss here. Welcome. So, Putin is in Alaska with Trump, and they are going to start their talks. What is that going to be? We shall see. It's going to be a long evening, I think. It's going to be a while. But if they break over to the podiums there, we will cover that live. Until then, we can guess what's going to happen. We can talk about what's going to happen. But we're kind of stuck as it is until, I mean, the talks could go on for hours. Who knows? But I'm here. You're here. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to drop down here in the corner, and I'm just going to take a look at the charts now, because we have Dogecoin continuing to stay above 22 cents. It touched it here right around noontime, and it's still staying above. And so that's showing me at least that Dogecoin is showing strong support. The only other one I see showing strong support of the big ones is Cardano. ADA is actually above, quite a bit above where the dips were yesterday. But just about everything else is lower than where it was yesterday. From Bitcoin, especially ETH. ETH had a big sell-off this morning. ETH is down. Algorand is down. Solana down. HBAR down. We've got VeChain down. XRP down. So everything has dropped lower than where the dips were yesterday, except Cardano above and Doge still above, albeit slightly, but I'll take it. Doge is not crashing. So yes, Luna Classic, Maramello, is Luna Classic up? Luna Classic, wow. It's actually down 1% on the day, and it's right exactly where it dipped to yesterday on Luna Classic. The one that is mooning is this thing called Carabella, which goes by XNY, or Codata, I mean. It's up 50%. Codata. I have no idea what this thing is. But it's being heavily shorted. A lot of shorts got wiped out as it went up. And it kept going up, and it was on a short squeeze for a while. May start dropping down, but you zoom out on this thing, and you think like a week ago where this was, of which there was no volume of trading. Since then, it is up like 800% in a week. And I never heard of this thing, Codata, which goes by XNY. But if any of you happen to be in that one, awesome. I would sell, take the profit, roll it into Doge. Not financial advice, of course. Not financial advice. So Bitcoin is trying to hold 117 now because 118 failed to hold. Now at 117, and ETH dropping below 4,400 now, as it was not able to hold 4,500. So that means, of course, there were big liquidations. Just in the last hour, there was $10 million more in Ethereum. If we look at the 24-hour, it's $189 million in Ethereum leverage wiped out, 59 in Bitcoin. Ethereum is getting heavily traded right now. And I would guess that they're going to take out the shorts. They're going to take out the shorts. Let's take a quick look at the heat map, because I do have that also lined up to show, but just wanted to get a feeling for where things were. Yeah, Bitcoin could actually drop down to about 116.5 and take out some pretty heavy shorts. 116.5. So yeah, we will be watching that. And then ETH has big dollars. And we'll have to zoom out a bit on the ETH one to show. But yeah, it was coming down, taking out lots of leverage longs. And Dogecoin has been rather quiet on the leverage front. Rather quiet. So yeah, it took out some leverage longs this morning. Big new shorts have shown up though. There's $5 million right there at 22.7. So yeah, we will be watching that happen. Also, for those just joining, we are keeping a watch on what's happening with Anchorage, Alaska, with Putin, Trump talks. They're at a commercial break now, but again, the talks are going to go on for a while. I'm not expecting anything reporting out of there anytime soon, but there was some nice video earlier of Trump and Putin. Oh yeah, I did my thumbnail. I did post on X as well. But there was some good video on Trump and Putin greeting each other, which was pretty good. There's going to be a peace deal, and it's like, no, there's not going to be a peace deal. You can't have the United States and Russia make a peace deal without Ukraine being part of it. Now, does Ukraine come back in and then they have a three-way talk following? Maybe, but there's not going to be a deal today. I think the best we can hope for is enough positive talks between the United States and Russia. Of course, they're going to talk about other things too. They're going to talk about energy. They're going to talk about trade. I think one of the most positive things that could come out is if there's an agreement and some kind of economic agreement where the United States would lift sanctions on Russia. I'm not expecting it to go that far. I think the United States still wants to keep that leverage on Russia to follow through on whatever talks happen, but we will be watching for that. If something like that happened, the markets would boom. That would be awesome. The Trump token is up, DW? Really? The Trump token is up. Is that right? Well, there you go. The Trump token is up, back over $9. I sold my Trump collectibles. I sold my collectibles. But yeah, this has been, well, it was over $10 here on Wednesday. So, but that's a better recovery than most. Yes. We, of course, have our eyes on Doge. And if Doge is going to break up a little more, get into a safe zone here, maybe take out some of the shorts up here. 22.6 is what we just identified on the heat map. 22.6 has $5 million in Dogecoin shorts to get liquidated at 22.6. That's not too far away. So what's going on? Right now, we have a lot of mixed feelings about the overall crypto market. And what I thought is I would start a poll. And the poll is, how do you feel about this bull cycle? And the answers are, it's over. The second is we top in, I'll just call it October, if I spell it right. And then I had the third option is we haven't even started. All right, we'll see how you guys feel about the overall crypto market for this bull cycle. Please vote in the poll and we will see how you think. We will check that out. Overall, we've got, look, Altcoin Sherpa in the last 24 hours, buying the dip, deploying capital, buying opportunity, all in, bought with size, fully deployed, buying the dip again, as a lot of cryptos are dropping even lower. So that seems to be what crypto's doing right now. But it's all like, what's going to go on with this? Everyone's kind of waiting to see what happens with Trump against Trump Putin talk. So we will see. But there's also negativity still coming out of those inflation numbers that came out. The FedWatch tool, because FOMC is meeting in 32 days, and the whole thing has shifted back to the right. Because we were like 95% rate cut at 25 basis points with 3% that there would be a 50 basis point. Now, there's no 50 basis point cut even on this graph again, and it's gone all the way down to 85% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut and 15% no rate cut. So it has shifted following those inflation numbers. So, yeah, that seems to be where the market stands right now. So that's not good. And we see that in the prices. And here's the ETH, right? ETH dropped yesterday, took out a bunch of liquidity, and then dropped even more today to take out all those long leverage trades. Hundreds of millions of dollars. So a lot of this was driven by the market makers, as we've talked about. But look, overall, Bitcoin's money flow index is flashing the same signal as it did in the bull market still of 2021 and 2017. And we still could have higher to goal. Hidden bullish divergence is confirmed. Confirmed. Every time this happened, the next move was explosive. Ignore the noise. The big money is already positioning. When you zoom out and you look at the 4-year cycles, I'm still bullish, as I have been all year long for the fall of 2025, as I have consistently said. So, meanwhile, George is like, 2025 is mimicking the breakout back in 2020 into 2021 for altcoin season. Be prepared for an alt season unlike any we've seen before. And I'm like, well, maybe not. But that's George. He's a perma-bull, and he's going to post these things again and again and again. I had posted yesterday about Snoop Dogg and Doge. If you remember, any of you from 2021, that all of a sudden we got these celebrities coming out and talking about Dogecoin because Dogecoin was everywhere. It was everywhere in the news. This time, right now, no one's talking about Dogecoin. Really. There's nobody talking about Dogecoin. But my point was, when celebrities like Snoop Dogg start pumping Dogecoin like back in 2021, then you know we're near the top of the cycle. We are not there yet. In my opinion, we are not there yet. Because nobody's talking about Dogecoin right now. Nobody. Remember the FOMO celebrities? Yes, Sunshine? Yep. There was a bunch of, there was like Jason Derulo, I remember. And there was the guy from Kiss. And who else? There was some chef or something that got all dressed up in like a spacesuit and was like, I'm going to do Dogecoin. It was just like Mia Khalifa. Remember Mia Khalifa, right? She was like Dogecoin, right? It was like, oh my God. Yeah, good times. 2021. We haven't had any of that yet. And this guy comes in and asks Grok if this is true. And Grok says, the claim has merit. Historically, this is Grok, the AI saying this. Celebrity pumps like Snoop's in 2021 marked the peaks. In 2025, Doge is at around 23 cents amid a bull cycle, alt season unfolding per Coinbase with no recent Snoop endorsements. We're likely mid-cycle, not top yet. Watch for broader hype as a sell signal. So there is Grok. Who is Mia Khalifa? Mia Khalifa, my favorite actress, of course. Yes, master singer. Mia Khalifa. So that's what Grok had to say. A Bitcoin census is like, look, looking at previous cycles on Doge, considering the current market behavior, it looks like price could go way past. Yes, that is way past its all-time high. A realistic target would be around the $2 price mark. The final blow off top would take price to the top of this ascending broadening wedge on the monthly. Considering this target, we still have a little over an 800% price increase from here. From here. $2 Dogecoin. So, we will watch liquidations as they are going on today, because that has an indication of what the market is doing. So we will keep our eye on that. We will also keep our eye on what is happening with Anchorage, Alaska, with Trump and Putin. And of course, you know, Zelensky is going to say what he's going to say, but he is not the item of news right now. So, but we will check in on that. And Dogecoin, hey, holding over 22 cents. And as we showed at the beginning, Cardano is up. And just about everything else, including Ethereum, is way down from the dips we had yesterday. So that big fall in the ETH price we had took out hundreds of millions of dollars of leverage on ETH. So that's what we have going on. Let me check in on the chat. Q&A session. What is on your minds? What is on your minds besides who is Mia Khalifa? Because of course Ryan knows who Mia Khalifa is. Did John Travolta say something? Yeah, maybe. That does sound kind of familiar. He may have been another one of those. a lot of like B-list celebrities, right? Come out. Guy Fieri, that was the chef. It's just like, really? All right. They all came out of the woodwork. But yeah, we're talking about Doge here. Of course, Donnie. Yes, we talk about Doge here. This is the place to talk about Dogecoin. The only one on the internets that keeps it real is right here on the KrissPax channel. We do talk about other cryptos as well, but Dogecoin focused because this fall is going to be epic, epic, epic. I don't think we want another crypto bull run. That was not good. 2022 crypto bull was not good. After all the 2021 hype and the whole crypto market just cratered. So, smash the likes and subscribe. It was a bad news week. We'll be fine. The September 17th Fed meeting will decide the fate of the overall markets. If Feds hold despite the CME reports, we'll be heading into a vicious bear market. I don't think so. I don't think it would be a vicious bear market. I think it'll just be business as usual. We still just kind of putter along, but I don't think it turns into a full bear. It won't pump the market, that's for sure. Yeely, you hit your Pepe buy at 0.000.109. So Pepe dropped below 11 into the 10s. Oh, now it's at 107. So yeah, you hit on this pullback this morning. Well, good luck on your Pepe. Good luck. You're scared on XCN. No, there's no being scared in crypto. You cannot be scared. Down 4%. That's kind of on the higher range today. There's others down 4%. Optimism is down 4%. Aave is down. Arbitrum is out down 8%. Just be glad you're not in Arbitrum. Look at Arbitrum's drop. 8%. So XCN, yeah, again, on the higher side, down 4%, also lower than the dips we had yesterday, now at 12.5 cents. So if we zoom out and we look at the overall, back where we were in June. So all of those big gains in July on Onyx are now all wiped out. That's too bad. That is too bad. I mean, we compare this to Dogecoin, and you'll see Dogecoin in June was much lower than the 22 cents where Doge is not. I mean, is now. Doge is higher now than it was back in June. So, yeah. And how about Bonk? I see someone mentioning Bonk. Bonk is back to where I bought it. Bonk has finally come all the way back to where I bought it. And that was back here. 11th of July. So it's come all the way up to 4 cents or 0.0004, came back down to 3, and now back down to 23, right where I bought it. So I'm now breaking even on Bonk. But I wait. Bide my time, right? The market will turn around. Still good news coming. The Fed rate cut is still 85% chance there'll be a rate cut. Dogecoin ETFs. We've got BitOrigin. We've got House of Doge and the Dogecoin Foundation. We've got Doge OS. X is going to launch X Money, which will be bullish for Doge. Even though Doge won't be on it, will still be bullish. So all of that is still coming. Bitcoin dominance has fallen to a 6-month low. Well, that was yesterday. It's up a little bit today. But yesterday, yes, we did have that. We did have that yesterday. But up a little bit today. You said 6 months. It was back at this price in February. Yes. In February. And that's when Bitcoin dominance rocketed over 60%. It did actually just touch 60% at noon today. Look at that. Right there. It did touch 60% again. Interesting. Interesting. Let's not get greedy. All right, 700%. We don't need 800%, right, Adam? 700% will do. Hey, CJ, how's it going? Can I explain the CME gap? Well, so I'll try. I'll do the best I can. So there's this chart that's called BTC1 exclamation mark, which is Bitcoin CME futures. So the CME group has this futures trading, and the futures trading generally has gaps in it based on the end of the day trading and the beginning of the trading the next day. So this was a gap right here. And actually, they needed to put that right there. So according to this gap right here that we had, Friday to Monday, like over the weekend, right? There's this gap here. And I could draw it as a little box. And that's where the trading ends right there. So that's where the trading ends on a Friday and begins again on a Monday. And that's called a gap. All right, that's it. And there are many people who believe that those gaps need to be, quote, filled. So everyone was all excited, right, yesterday when we filled that gap. But then somebody said, well, no, you need to take from that red candle, you need to take it all the way down to the bottom. So the gap is actually all the way to there. So you take that line and you need to move it down there. And if you do that, it didn't actually completely fill all the way. So I think it's just people making shit up is what I think, for a reason why the price goes down. It doesn't have anything to do with the gap, in my opinion. But there's that. And we can look back at other ones that have happened, like this one right here. So we had this one on the 10th of July. We had a big gap, right? This big gap. And guess what happened on August 1st? We had a big pullback in the market and it filled the gap. All right? Filled the gap. So we have this other gap right here. And then the question is, well, it always has to fill the gap, right? Always has to fill the gap. And I say, no, Because we scroll back a little more, we take a look at this date right here. And this was on April 22nd into Wednesday, April 23rd, and there's a gap. See that big gap right there? Guess what? Never filled. It never filled, my friends. That gap never filled. So for those saying the CME gaps need to be filled, I just say, yeah, we didn't go back down to 92K. 92K. Different perspective says 90K. Well, this is 92K right there. That gap needs to be filled, and I'm like, not going to happen. So that's why I made these two lines red, because the yellow one's filled, the red one did not. So that's what that's about. But there are some who don't remember that, and they just say, oh, CME gaps need to be filled. And I'm like, nope, they don't. They do not. So that's what that's about. CME gaps. Joke Smoke giving out a membership. Who got it? Bill got it. Hey, Bill, congratulations. And also, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Joke. Good afternoon to everybody. Look, actually, Doge is trading pretty well right now. Again, did not drop below 22 cents. Held very well and is moving up. We've got Doge in the green. We've got Cardano in the green. We now have XRP starting to move back up. And AVAX is starting to move back up a little bit. So I could add XRP to our coins that are doing well. How about that? XRP. I don't sound optimistic on Pepe. I don't think Pepe will have the rate of return from now to its peak that Doge is going to have. That's all. I think Doge is a better buy now than Pepe is. Pepe was all the rage last year. That's when it went on all its huge runs. This year, Pepe will do all right. I don't think it's going to do as well as Doge. So, patience, yes. Yes, Campo, patience. Sheep has been dead for a long time, Jeff. Since I sold it. Since I sold my sheep, sheep has been dead. Go Doge, Pepe, and Bonk. All right, Cam. Altcoin season. We'll be watching. If filling the gap is what is giving us some green candles now, let's just fill them and move on. Nope. The filling the gap is the red candles to go down. That's what the filling the gap is. It's the red candles. We don't like those. But like I said, doesn't have to happen. And Tom Crown even showed last week probably about 5 others that were never filled over the last 2 years. I don't have time to go back and show you all those, but he showed a bunch of other ones that never got filled. People just, they want to prove themselves right, but they don't want to actually do the work that shows that maybe they're not. Is it time to rotate? DW asks. Is it time to rotate? Well, when ETH just about hit its all-time high there the other day, before this big pullback, I mean, that was where all the excitement was, right? On Wednesday night. So that pullback there from its top to now is like 7.5%. Like Doge's pullback from there is probably, 12%. Again, when Doge drops, it drops at a higher percentage than Bitcoin and ETH, apparently, in this pullback. We've seen. But now, after the pullback, well, Doge has dropped harder than ETH has. So if you wanted to swap over, if you believe Doge is going to outperform ETH from here, sure. Never buy Bitcoin or ETH, Doge only. Well, K-Mac, that's your opinion. A lot of people like to have some Bitcoin and ETH in their portfolios. Every simulation has glitches. Like the video, everybody. Maybe that 92K gets filled. The bottom of the next bear market bars. Maybe. Maybe. Charles just bought some alts. Hey, Nate, what are your thoughts on AVAX and Link? I feel they are similar, but which one do you think has more potential? Well, Link has just gone on a big run. AVAX teases us by going on runs and then coming all the way back. But I mean, Link just had this big run. So you're buying Link. If you're buying now, you're buying it after a nice run. So Link is now like number 12, like the 12th highest crypto. AVAX has just been kind of, I mean, we're watching it, right? We were watching these higher lows as AVAX was moving up, and then like late July pulled back like everything did into August 1st. But zooming out even further and looking at the performance, you're like, I sold my AVAX right there at $34. Link, I sold at $23, and Link came all the way back up and hit $23 again here the other day. So I don't have a lot of faith in AVAX longer term. They were supposed to be like this big gaming platform and do all of this stuff, and the gaming on Web3, crypto just has never, it hasn't made it yet. We're still too early, I think, in all of that. So I don't know. Right now, I'm just sticking with Bitcoin, ETH, and Doge. I'm letting Bonk play out. I'm letting Pump and Pengu play out. We'll probably sell my peak this fall as well and be done with that and take the loss, like all of that. And I'm just going to not go chasing a bunch of different alts. Nope, there's no latest news. Nothing yet going on. But we'll be watching. We will be watching. I keep this on in the background, and we'll tune in if something happens. I mean, they've already called the thing pursuing peace, right? But we don't know if that's going to happen. So We'll see what they say. But we'll keep our tabs on that. And I will, if something happens, we'll turn the volume up and we will show it live. If the market might move, if leaks come out. Leaks. Trump and Putin are talking about Mia Khalifa, right? What do I think about XRP? Oh, Hambone. You don't want to get me started on XRP. I just say do your research. Just take a look over the number of years, the past years, how many XRP tokens have been circulating, and you'll see that XRP, on a percentage basis, has had a larger increase in the number of tokens in circulating supply than the number of Doge has increased over the past 4 years of new Doge coins in circulating supply. So you can start there. And then you look at the schedule of when there was an increase in XRP tokens, and it seems to line up conspicuously close to when they had to pay their attorneys like big fees. Yes, they sell their own tokens to pay their bills. They pre-mined all of the XRP for themselves, and now they just release and sell. So do your research, and you'll let me know. Filling the CME gap is TNA blah. I agree, Adam. We don't like the red candles. Only buy on the big green ones. Dogecoin has no relationship to ETH, really. Really no relationship. Vitalik Buterin once wanted a bridge between the two, but Doge isn't going to change the proof of stake. So don't think that is happening. Regret not buying ETH at 1,300? No regrets. All eyes on Putin. Putin and Trump talking about Doge? I'm sure they are. Hey, Doge is do only good every day, right? Of course they're talking about Doge. Doge will do a 2x, Christian. A 1x means that it just stays the same price. So to double, back to like 24. That's what I think. Aloha, Duchess. Happy Friday music. No Yingling on a Friday. Nope. I have no beer in the house. Yeah, a DW, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to entertain that. Don't really want to entertain that. So what do we think? The cycle is definitely over. We are topping in October, or we haven't even started yet. We haven't even started yet. It has 50% of the vote, just about 50%. 34% are in the top in October. 16% are bears. 16%. Oh, Galvin, you must have voted. It's over. You must have been in that category. It's over. I'm with somebody else. I should have had like we top in November, because I'm thinking maybe November. My finger slipped. Doge has held up pretty well today, despite ETH going all the way down below 4,400, because ETH really ETH really pulled back here. There's a lot of selling on ETH. ADA stayed up and Doge stayed up. Hodl your Doge, increase coin count on the dips. Couldn't have said it better myself. Best price to buy Doge? Any price. No, $21.99. $21.99. Catch it on the dip. $21.99. They're still doing replays. Nothing going on. We'll just keep checking back. Oh, they're now saying 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, joint news conference. So, hey, well, something good came out then, because Trump didn't just walk away, right, and get back on his plane. So we have that, right? 7:30 p.m. Okay, we have that. October-ish. Sunshine, yes. The top will be October-ish. I haven't seen anybody bought Bitcoin higher than me, Ryan. I'm king of the hill. I am king of the hill. Oh, yes, and the Trump token, the Trump collectible. And XNY. Did you guys see XNY? XNY. It's this thing called Codata. Went up 50% today. Codata. But now, pulling back hard. Codata. Never heard of it before. There's way too many cryptos. When Doge pulled back, I was tempted to sell my Pengu. Pengu did about the same thing. Pengu actually had a little bit more of a dip this morning, kind of like ETH. Yeah, Pengu followed ETH this morning. So you got to wait for Pengu to have the big green candle, and then you sell your Pengu. And then you buy Doge on its next red candle. The boot. The boot. I just give that guy a quick boot. Comes back under a new name, and I just see him right away, and it's like, nope, not playing that game. The boot. You missed it. I didn't. Got to be on top of things, right? Got to be on top of it. He said I was wrong again. I'm just like, whatever. You bought Doge at 70 cents. There was somebody on my live stream last year that said they bought at 73. 73-cent Doge. I was like, man. Yeah, Trump can't do that. Stickman. a Dogecoin, a 1 ounce gold coin. I just have the cheap little, whatever that's made out of. You get off Amazon. This is like 20 bucks. Then you can get a lot of 3 of them for like 20 bucks for these. They're cute. Fun to have. Little Dogecoin. Octo November. Doug, I should have had that on there. Octo November. Mango. Yeah, just every day there's something I never heard of. If you were in it, awesome. Most people aren't. You see a similar pattern forming from April to May. Next phase. Yeah, patterns come and go. Jasmine. Jasmine pulled back as well, below the dip yesterday. So yesterday's dip went to about 164. This morning dipped to 158. 158 for Jasmine on the dip. You want to rotate Pepe to Doge. So yeah, what you want is a big Pepe, big green candle, back up to 12, right? And if Doge hasn't moved during that time much, that would be a great time to do it. Right now, Pepe's down versus Doge. So I think the best thing is like really looking at the trading pair and in whichever way you can. Just compare the two. I know, isn't that right, Adam? Bought Bitcoin at the top. I'm the king. I practice what I preach not to do. And it's a beautiful thing. For those that don't know and weren't here the other day, you can go on my X account and you can see my order that filled right here. This is like, I should frame this. I should absolutely frame this. I bought Bitcoin at $125,011. $125. And you say, oh, but Kriss, the all-time high is 124 too. And I say, I know. I paid more than the all-time high for my Bitcoin. I'm the king. Because I caught it at the top, but on Robinhood. So I paid even more. It takes talent to do that, everybody. Talent. $125,000 for the $10 of Bitcoin that I bought. My 800 or 8,000 sats or whatever that is. I have no idea. Still don't get that. But yeah, I bought Bitcoin at the top. Looks like, yeah, 124.5 was the all-time high. And I paid more. Awesome. We got some positive movement up. Maybe because there's going to be a news conference at 7:30. People are saying, hey, Trump didn't walk away. They're talking. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Yep, Doug, the boot came out very quickly. Yep, quick reflex. Had to get that taken care of. Come all hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. 20,100 subs now. Just blew right by 20K. We're just going. Lots of traders closed around 80% of their positions when ETH neared 5K, re-entered at 4.5. No, I don't do the swing trading thing. I just buy and hold long term because I want to pay a long-term capital gains tax on my profits, not short-term. Okay? That's how I trade. Long-term capital gains tax. I can make a course. How to buy at the top. Yes. Buying at the top. Oh. Yep. And then I will DCA over the next year. Bitcoin. Yep. You hated the PPI results? Yeah, kind of put a damper on things, didn't it? The markets were looking so good. We were all feeling really good. And then, bam. One day, that $125,000 bit of Bitcoin that I got is going to make me good money. Yep. Yep. And if I do that 12,500 more times, I'll have a full Bitcoin. I like that, Calvin. That's good. That's good. My Bitcoin is worth more than anyone else's. At least until the next run up. That's right. The subs on the KrissPax channel are also at an all-time high. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt anything. Just you like the stream and you hit subscribe at the same time. Hey, Hang, how are you? I mean, look at this nice big green candle here. Nice. I have not seen a Zelensky music video. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to. I did see one of him dancing around before he became a politician. That was kind of weird. I guess he was an actor, comedian, dancer kind of thing. That was weird. I did see that. Is that the one you're talking about? There are people who just can't let go of the past, CJ. I'm not. Whatever they think I'm going to do, I'm not going to do. Okay? They can't get over something that happened over 4 years ago. And they need to move on. I've moved on. They need to move on. But they would rather just be stuck in the past and not making money as opposed to build for the future and make money. So buy high, sell low. Classic Bitcoin performance right there. If I sell that Bitcoin for anything under 125K, I'll be selling it for a loss. But I'm not going to do that. And that's just, I don't know if you're trying to be funny, Galvin, with that Bitcoin statement, but nobody's laughing. Dogecoin and Fartcoin is the future. Fartcoin, really? Charlotte must be working late tonight. I will subscribe at the top. There's a news conference for 7:30, so that's not for another 2.5 hours. But we're getting some nice buying going on right now. I don't want to see it. Yeah, I don't want to see it. The insiders already know how the summit's going. Ugh. If only I understood Russian, right? What's up, Orbit? Doge ETF news? No news yet. We wait. Be patient till October. Grayscale filed an S1. I thought they already did. They may have refiled. So let's make sure we get this right, okay? Grayscale did not file an S1 specifically for Doge. They did, however, launch a Dogecoin trust in 2025 and since filed to convert it into a spot Doge ETF. The conversion process is similar to how they converted their Bitcoin trust into a spot Bitcoin ETF. All right. So Grayscale doesn't need to file an S1. If they did file one, then there must be something going on with their trust, which should be able to convert over to a spot ETF, just like their Bitcoin one did. So yeah, I don't see anything in the news on it. Grayscale registered the Cardano trust. So they're going to go towards Cardano. That's why Cardano's been doing well. Yeah, there's no news on that I see. Oh, look at the Doge, big green candles. Woo! Woo! Hey, Prajwal, how are you? You're about to go lose money racing horses? You bet on the horses, Ryan? Oh my God. The biggest, fattest, tallest green candle is a God candle. This is not a God candle yet. This is just coming back. God candles just go way up. Overreaction to the PPI data. I agree. I agree. But it gave us an opportunity to buy on the dip, though, didn't it? I was not buying Dogecoin at 70 cents, Galvin. No. There were no excuses for not buying the bottom. Unless you're broke. Unless you're really broke. Well, anything you like, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. So I'll just leave it at that. Christian's got to go watch a Mia Khalifa video. He'll be right back. Oh. Bitcoin is really the kind of crypto that will be profitable sooner or later, regardless of what price you buy it at. Most likely, it's just going to keep going higher. Somebody knows something, right? Big green candle. Somebody knows something. Bitcoins aren't big. Bitcoin doesn't have big green candles. Dogecoin does. Just Google Mia Khalifa Dogecoin and you'll see, yes, she used to hold Dogecoin. Now, whether she still does or not, don't know. You know, Watcher Guru is not 100% accurate. All right? Just so you know that. Watcher Guru is not 100% accurate. Let's see what he said. See what he said. Just in, Grayscale files S1 for Dogecoin ETF. There's no link. There's no nothing. No link. Let's see what X says. Grayscale Dogecoin S1. Grayscale. Here we go. United States Securities Exchange Commission Form S1 Grayscale Dogecoin Trust. Well, there it is. So why would they be filing an S1 if they're doing the conversion already? Why would they do that? No, this claim is false. Official Grayscale and SEC sources show no S1 filing for Dogecoin ETF. That's what Grok says right now. But yet, this looks pretty legit. Wherever this came from. But everyone's just saving this image and reposting it over and over again. Same image. I don't know which is the original. This is February. I don't know. See, I did this in February too. I posted this. SEC acknowledges Grayscale's 19B4 filing for its spot Dogecoin ETF. So that's what they did. They did a 19B-4 in February. Form S1. Interesting. Well, this guy probably has the best post on this. So I'm going to quote post this. Let's see. Huge news for Dogecoin and a Grayscale spot ETF for Doge. Just curious what happened with the 19B-4 and conversion from the trust as previously. We'll see how that goes. See if somebody answers me there, because I'm confused. But we are getting a Dogecoin pump, which is nice. I'll take it. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Taught you most out of any YouTuber. Keeps my word on giving away Doge. Thank you. You've got 50,000 Doge, 200,000 Crow coins. Wow. That's a nice bag of Crow you've got. Crow is going to at least double. You'll be all right. CQ, where do you put your ledger for crypto other than the ledger? What's the best software offline for smartphone to put crypto in? You can just transfer from any wallet on your phone to any wallet, which can be a ledger. It could be an Exodus wallet. It could be a Trust wallet, whatever. Just make sure you've got two-factor authentication. You're doing everything to be safe and secure. You're not hitting any phishing links on your emails, like all of that. I know nothing about Crow. It's the crypto.com token, Donnie. So if you don't use crypto.com, you don't need Crow. But I have crypto.com. I have a link below if anybody wants to join crypto.com. It's where I bought Trump token, Peak token, Pump.fun, Pengu, like all on crypto.com before they were available on Coinbase or Binance US. So that's one thing that's nice about crypto.com is it has a lot of those tokens before they get listed anywhere else on US based. So where US residents can buy them. And then once you're into the crypto.com app, you start doing all the little missions and things, and you gather up more Crow tokens. And then when you have enough, you can stake them and make more. It's like a whole thing within crypto.com. But the Crow token itself and its price can be very volatile. So was on a stock that went up 10 times in minutes. That's cool, David. That's cool. And that there's a God candle right there, right? God candle. Buy Doge now, green candle. No, pups. But yesterday on the dip, or even this morning on the dip, it touched 22 cents again right there. Stairs down, elevator up. You bought the bottom late 2022. So did I. That wasn't the bottom on Doge, though. Doge, the bottom was actually June of 2022. But Bitcoin, it was November, I believe, right after the FTX crash. You've heard about the Crow token? Yeah, it's the whole crypto.com thing. Different perspective. Respect to my fellow countrywoman, Mia. Awesome. Respect is a good word. According to recent reports, there was a leak revealing President Trump privately presented a peace proposal to Putin. Grok has lied before. I mean, Grok just doesn't have the latest information. The AI can't keep up with breaking news. Yeah, the S1 and the 19B4, the 19B4 was a conversion from a trust. So Grayscale first created a trust for Dogecoin. And you can look up the trust and you can see how much money is in there. And then they want to convert that over to a spot ETF. That's the way they did Bitcoin. They want to do the same thing with Doge. Trump has been wearing a yellow tie this past week, and you're tying that to Doge? Oh. Thank you, Boss Mac. I will try to get to the bottom of it. See what's going on. The news at 7:30, is that a sell the news event, Goose, or are we going to go higher? I'm not worried about it either way. I'm not trading, so I'm not buying and selling. I'm just still buying on dips, and I'm just waiting until the fall. According to sources, U.S. is considering easing sanctions. I talked about that earlier. As part of the peace negotiations, details remain scarce, no official announcements. Yeah. And I said it would be super bullish if they lifted sanctions, but easing sanctions in order to keep discussions going, I think is a smart thing to do. Many say don't trust Putin, don't trust what he says, he lies, he won't follow up, like all that stuff. You got to start somewhere, though. Otherwise, there'll never be peace. Yep, I'm not sleeping on Crow. I got 30,000 Crow. So I like to follow links that tell me I can double my held Bitcoin by inputting my code. Yes. Everybody, don't do that. Don't do what RR said. Don't do that. It looks like Doge is pumping now because of this Grayscale ETF filing. But again, it just happened. I don't understand what's happened with their other thing that they already filed for. So we'll find out. And thanks, guys. I got there finally, but thank you for posting that. Annie wants to be a Doge dog for Halloween. That'll be an awesome, awesome costume. If you can find that or find a way to make that costume, that'll be awesome. Shout out to Annie. Awesome. Have fun with that. Giving Moscow access to Alaska. That probably has to do with trade. That'd be my guess. Thank you, Altiza. Appreciate it. Right. They're exactly, Nick. They're the ones I don't believe. NATO and the corrupt EU politicians. They're the ones I don't trust in all of this. Oh, and Zelensky. I don't trust him either. He wants to keep the money train rolling. The war ends, he doesn't get money and other things coming back into his country. So, who you calling a fool? Who you calling a fool? You're welcome, Mr. T. Yeah, I think there's 3 of them there to be worried about, not just 2. Is it a faux pump? Is it a faux? I don't know. There's some trading going on here. There's some trading going on. I didn't say that. RR. No. I didn't say that. I try and be neutral here as much as I can. I try to be. Sometimes my thoughts kind of creep in, my real thoughts. You trust Putin more than Zelensky and NATO? Everyone like and subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, see, Lucky, I don't know how it works, though. If they're just filing their S1 now, there's already a Bitwise one that is going to come due on October 17th. And here we are in August with this new Grayscale thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. You're making a Moscow mule orbit. I should go get my vodka, right? Let's all drink some vodka. Vodka. We'll take vodka shots, right? Oh. They're in a commercial break. Commercial break. See if anybody has answered me. Dogecoin going to the moon. John, the 19B4 process, often delayed by regulatory scrutiny, could indicate ongoing debates about crypto ETF, historical data showing SEC rejected. Yeah, but then they finally approved it. Grayscale shift to cash-only creation or redemption with potential in-kind Doge reflects a strategic adaptation to SEC concerns supported by Coinbase custody. Okay, well, maybe there's an advantage to having an S1 over the 19B4. And maybe they heard that 19B4 approval might not happen. Maybe. Oh, somebody did Grok Imagine with my picture. I don't like Grok Imagine. That's one of the things I will say how I feel. Direct hit, Garmani? Oh, on that, yes. The Doge. The Doge. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Doge is responding nicely with some nice green candles. After digging into the trust details, it appears Coinbase Custody Trust is the custodian. Well, it says Coinbase Custody on the new filing. Was it also for the old filing? Interesting. Drinking whiskey now. That sounds good. If Dogecoin hits 23 cents, I'm gonna take a shot. I'll do that. The war will not end today. I don't think anybody is saying the war is going to end today, CJ. That wasn't the purpose. And you can't end a war when only one side is at the talk. The other side isn't there yet. You got to have the other side come. Yes, what Trump did with the big beautiful bill, raising the deficit, was not a good thing. I get it, right? And then the whole thing about Ukraine and sending more arms again to Ukraine may have been a political move to make today happen with Putin. So it may have been a strategy to get something moving in terms of peace talks because it wasn't happening any other way. So I'm going to look at the positive side of that. But I get it on the big, beautiful bill. I mean, Elon called him out, right? But Trump wanted to get his agenda passed, and it came at the sacrifice of the deficit. So I hope he starts working on the deficit now, that he's got that passed. If Dogecoin hits 23 cents, I will be drinking whiskey too. Yes, Europe did gas deals with Putin in Russia, yes. Lots of new faces. Welcome, everybody. Hey, we're enjoying a Friday afternoon here, and we're watching a nice pump for Dogecoin here coming out of the pullback. And we're not seeing this with anything else. ETH is still down. Bitcoin still down. But Doge is moving. So it gets to this blue line right here, 23 cents. Kriss is getting the bottle. I'm going to get the bottle right there. We're at 22.82. Oh, but they filed the 19B4 in March. Dino. They filed the 19B4 for the conversion from the trust. So it was a placeholder waiting for the New York Stock Exchange to act on the 19B4. Now that it was approved, it clears the path. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's bullish. That is very bullish. Right there, my friend. That means the 19B4 went through what it needed to do to now, clear the path for the spot ETF. Woo! Did you post in the community, Orbit? I have not been able to see people's posts. I don't know what the problem is. And it's my community. It's my community. Oh, there we go. Trying to keep my coin market cap chart green for the 24-hour chart. Robinhood, Doge order filled. Pengu. You got some Pengu and you got some ETH. Awesome. Good luck to us, right? We'll all win if those go up. Yeah, I never saw the post from yesterday. They don't show up. I don't know what happened, but I see orbits. That's interesting. Doge is 23 cents on Coinbase? I don't think so. It could be on like on the phone app because the buy price is higher than the actual price. If you're not doing advanced trading, you never buy Coinbase. And you never buy Doge on Coinbase through the app. Go to advanced trading. You're going to overpay if you use the app. 7:30 is the announced time of the press conference, according to Fox Live Now. That's what they just That's what they just showed. So I don't know why they're replaying this Zelensky thing, but obviously Zelensky's not going to go along with whatever Trump and Putin are talking about. So we'll see how that plays out. Get a few bottles ready. No. Right. Nobody's saying ceasefire right now, today. Because the United States and Russia cannot make that happen today without Ukraine in the room. Gonna grab some cognac. Nice. Maybe go to an intermission and get that bottle ready. Yeah, it's slowing down a little. Oh. Yes, the October is the deadline for the ETFs. I think it's about October 17th. That's when I'm expecting them. We need to fill the gap. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I will do it. Here we go. Come on, magnet, do your thing. Kriss is thirsty. Party! Oh. Yeah, you thought you had a good price on Bonk and it dropped lower. I get it. Hey, Lullavac. How are you, my friend? All in on Doge and H bar. Let's call it Doge bar. Doge bar, sure. They're meeting in order to get the United States and Russia on the same page, which will then lead to the next meeting. That's why they're meeting. Okay? Trump wants to hear directly from Putin. What are you thinking? To get on the same page. That's what today is about. The magic of the magnet. Come on. You're going to grab some anyway, RR? Get that cognac ready. So for the Bitcoin, it took about a week after the 19B4 approval. For ETH, it was 6 to 8 weeks. I think that was just so it lined up with the other ETFs. That's what it was for. So we're roughly 8 weeks away from the other ETFs, like the Bitwise ETF. So it'll be 8 weeks for Doge, and it'll line up with October 17th because the SEC said that they wanted all of the ETFs to start trading on the same day so that one didn't have an advantage over another for all of them that were successfully filed and being approved. All right? So that's how they did it. All hail the mighty magnet. I know, right? The magnet just started working right away. Look at that. I better get my bottle ready. Mia is invited to the $1 Dogecoin party in Boston. Mia can come. She's invited. Hey, I've been holding off on putting a magnet back on the chart until it was the right time. And today, it feels like the right time. So, have a whiskey at the Doge bar. Yes, the price is being attracted by the magnet. Yes, Dino, and thank you for your research on the side. I can't do that while I'm live streaming, so appreciate your help. But that it all starting to make sense now. That's all getting Grayscale in line to have their spot ETF approved the same time, the same day Bitwise is approved, October 16th, 17th. So that looks like what's happening. Tedward, the magnet is just for fun right now on 23 for the purposes of Kriss fixing himself a drink. That's what that's about. And then we'll move it up. I know. I bought yesterday, 21.92 yesterday during the live stream here. And a lot of other people here were buying at the same time. Somebody got like 21 85. The same time, they caught it on a little lower dip than I bought at. But yes, we were buying in the upper 21s yesterday on the dip. The magnet gets my blood pumping. Talks in hopes to end the war in future relations. Yep. Get your drink ready. I'll take a shot for every 10% of a penny increase. Just put the magnet on the moon. You sold all your Annie tokens for the Mia Khalifa coin? Of course there's a Mia Khalifa coin. Of course there is. Oh, come on, Doge. Kriss needs a cocktail. You got some this morning, Lucky? Nice. Nice. Doge shots to the moon. Good. Hey, Ramon, how are you? We're having fun on a Friday. How are you doing? How's the car doing? How's the Batmobile? Other than Doge, Michael asks, do you think prices will be lower than in September after the sell the news? We don't know. It's going to be choppy. That I know. Choppy, choppy, choppy. Until like late September, October, when then it finally starts mooning. That's what I think. You got out of the XRP game into Aerodrome, Miguel. Aerodrome. Aerodrome could be a great one. Could be a great one. Now it just went on this run from the 1st of August. So you bought after an 85% run already. So keep that in mind. Aerodrome is way above where it was in July, where, of course, Dogecoin is below where it was in July. So keep that in mind. $22.88. What's up? Kriss is thirsty. Levi, you have a night shift. Good luck. Making money though, right? Making money. Get your rubber mats for your Tesla. Yep, exactly, CJ. It's partially that. I mean, Russia always had its eyes on Crimea, and this just gave them an excuse. Penny going up, nice. The blue line is 23 cents, and when Kriss gets a drink. You're happy with Doge so far? Yes, this is the Doge channel. Welcome, Poolman. Like your cat. Haven't touched Doge, keeping it forever? Well, forever is a long time. Forever is a long time. Yeah, we covered ETH. ETH fell this morning, had a big pullback, and is lower now than it was on yesterday's dips. So now they took out hundreds of millions of dollars of long leverage trades here by dropping lower than the flash crash we had yesterday. And we showed that, Dan Crypto showed that on this chart. See these big yellow lines right there? That was additional huge hundreds of millions of dollars of leverage that didn't get wiped out yesterday, well, it got wiped out today. So that's what happened with ETH. I don't think this changes how ETH is going to perform the rest of the cycle. It's going to hit a new all-time high. It's going to go to 5K, 6K, maybe more. We'll see. That's what's going on. I hope I have a drink too. Now that I'm talking about it, I am kind of thirsty. Right. Work is better than no work. Making money is better than not making money. Thank you, Mr. T. Trump had, I saw that there were planes that flew over, but I didn't see what they were. It was a B-2 and 4 F-16s. Why not, right? You know Putin had to see them, right? You owe us one if it hits 23 or not. Or not. A bottle if Doge hits $1? I won't have to worry about that now. Drinking on the biggest green candle is better than buying on it. All right. We should just get it over with. We should just get it over with. President Trump and President Putin hold historic meeting. Is it going to be historic? Back to a commercial break. Putin stole Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ring? Did that happen? Did that happen? Did Putin steal Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ring? Let's see. The story of whether Russian President Vladimir Putin stole New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ring is a mix of intrigue, diplomacy, and conflicting accounts. Putin's side claims the ring was a gift, with the spokesman asserting that in 2013, Kraft willingly gave it to him. Kraft had initially issued a statement back in 2005, reportedly at the urging of the Bush administration, saying he gifted the ring to Putin as a symbol of respect and admiration for the Russian people and his leadership. Then, years later, Kraft clarified, saying he expressed regret over losing the ring, which held sentimental value. He didn't intend to part with the ring, jokingly expressed concern about it appearing on eBay. In 2017, he even offered to have a new ring made for Putin if his original could be returned. The ring is reportedly displayed in the Kremlin's library. Huh. So, did Putin steal it? Kraft's accounts lean toward an unauthorized taking, while Putin's side insists it was a gift. The truth likely lies in a cultural or diplomatic misunderstanding. Well, there you go. Kraft said he let him try it on, and he literally put it in his pocket and walked out of the room. Huh. All exchanges trade at a different price, Charles. All crypto exchanges trade at a different price. Crypto.com and Coinbase will show a higher price than the actual price on Binance. So I use the Binance for Dogecoin because this is where most of the trading happens. Kriss drinks first, and then Doge will hit 23. Algo was good last week, but then it pulled back again. So I have no faith in Algorand's performance. I held Algorand for many years, sold it, glad to be done with it. I don't like its overall price performance. I love an honest thief. I'm feeling a little parched, actually, Donnie. Feeling a little parched. I could use a little drink. I could do that. The phone app rounds up or down. Well, then when they send you the email, it's rounded. Like the email that I got when I bought it, $21.92, said I bought Doge at 22 cents. I didn't buy Dogecoin at 22 cents. I bought it at $21.92. Oh. So yeah. I've never heard of an Alice coin. There's way too many. There's millions of coins now. Way too many. HNT I've heard about. That one I know. How's it doing? Let's see. $2.63. It's higher now than it was on the dip yesterday. That's good. I mean, that's always the first thing I look at now, how well it's performed recently. It's lower than the mid-July pump up of $4. So nice buying opportunity, right? On the dips. Almost down to 250 on the dip. That would have been a good price. We're watching Doge right now, 22.89. Alcohol-related peer pressure. I know, right? Oh, we got to do something during the live streams, right? Petruchio, how are you, my friend? You went to a gun show this morning. You sold a gun and bought more Doge. There you go. Coin count, right? It's all about the coin count with Dogecoin. Coin count. Everyone's retweeting the news. Yeah. Let's see if anybody else responded. Charlotte's here on X. Yeah, that's the wrong dance or the wrong song. It's got to be All Eyes on Doge, not Vitalik dancing. You're right, Charlotte. Dogecoin is going to the moon. Yes, indeed. But the price, not making 23. Come on. You've been thinking about the Cybertruck? The G-Wagon will do donuts at a push of a button is alluring. A G-Wagon, really, Donnie? Yeah, it's a different animal. I agree. Somebody is asking for a Coinbase withdrawal code on my... Ugh, I ain't touching that. Do not touch those stupid texts that ask you to verify if you haven't done anything. Stay classy, buy a Porsche. Oh, the donuts. The pancake swap coin, David, I don't know about that. I mean, I used pancake swap back in 2021, but what does the coin do? And what? Hey, Pex Cat. Hey, buddy. How are you? How are you? Yeah. Coinbase requires my confirmation. Contact us immediately if you did not request this. No, thank you. Scam. Scam. Camry. Camrys are boring. I mean, you gotta have a nice car to enjoy. Maybe Doge is waiting on you to take a shot before it hits 23 cents. Oh. Coinbase says 23 cents. I should go ahead with my drink. Yes, the Grayscale news is legit. Yeah, you've received those texts too. Just swipe. I don't even tap on it. You just swipe it to the side and delete. Delete. Do I watch any other YouTubers on Doge? Not anymore. I used to watch Daryl every now and then, but he's like mostly XRP. And the stuff he talks about Doge, it's just not interesting. I used to watch David Mitchell. I mean, he's got some good charts that he shows, but I don't know. I just do me. I do my own thing. Every once in a while, like I watch George. I used to watch George more, not as much now. He's way too much of a bull. Not realistic. He knows a lot about a whole bunch of different alts, though, so I learn a lot from him about different alts. And same with Ivan on tech. Ivan never talks about Dogecoin, though, but he knows a lot about alts. And so, yeah, there's not a lot going on with Doge. Now, when like Andre Jick and those guys start doing Doge videos, you know it's the top. Then you know it's the top. The meeting is going to be at 7:30. It is now almost 6 o'clock. So it's still an hour and a half away. Yeah, just swipe it. Swipe it. Stretch your legs. About time to get up, Donnie. Look at that. 22.94. It's right there. It's right there. Yeah, David doesn't post much anymore. 23.14 on Robinhood. Well, I'm watching Binance. Trailer Park Traders is funny. He makes fun of VP. I don't know who Trailer Park Trader is. I'll have to look for him. It's so close I can smell the liquor. I was going to play the song when I go and get the liquor. Everyone wants me to drink. I know, right? Your hood is showing 22.9. The peer pressure. Now it's going to be my scratchy throat. Yes, the song will come. We're almost there. We're almost there. Come on. Come on, little doggy. Hey, Crazy Bear, what's going on? Well, apparently, Grayscale has made its next big step to its ETF with this S1 filing with the SEC. So that is looking good, my friends. Dogecoin price pumping up. Bitcoin not pumping. ETH not pumping. Dogecoin, a little pump going on. Yep, just answered. What's happening with Doge? It is nice. You're going to break even at 23.15, Wilfredo. Let's go get that. I want you to do more than break even. I want you to be in the green. Well, I'm enjoying a nice little shot of whiskey. I'm thinking it's a good time to buy. Oh, the weekend has started. Just got off work, got home, cracked the cold one. Awesome, Brad. I know, right, Donnie? Look at it. It's eating up that wick. Eating up that wick. You know what's next, right? You know what's coming next. That's right, Goose. We're doing shots. We're doing shots at 23 cents. Well, maybe not shots, but we're drinking. We're drinking. Bunch of Ukrainian flags in Anchorage. Sure. Why not? Are they protesting or are they in favor of a ceasefire and peace? And that is where the news conference will happen in about an hour and a half. We'll be right there. I will not be covering that live. Everyone buy now. Exactly. Kriss wants a drink. So everybody buy Dogecoin right now. I'm thirsty. You haven't had a drink for 3 years and you're going to do a tequila with us? Awesome. Oh, getting closer, Donnie. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Yeah, imagine Putin gifted Trump a Shiba dog. Oh. Well, that's what it's scheduled right now in 1.5 hours. So that would be at 7:30 East Coast time. That's what it said. Oh, 22.98. Here we go. So close. Yeah, we don't need any more giveaways. Just pick a price. Oh. Hit 23 on Robinhood. I didn't get the notification. I didn't get the 23-cent notification. Sheeb might be the new Russian currency. What else are they going to make up? Yeah, no secret meeting there. But you know Trump, though, he's going to get right to the topic. He doesn't mess around. He doesn't mess around. Oh, no. There's a red candle. So close. No notification on Robinhood yet. It wicked over 23 on Robinhood, huh? But not enough to get the notification. Usually Robinhood is quick on that. Oh, look at that. Rejected. Oh. Oh, so close. Rejected. Crashing, right? It's crashing. Ah. Pax Cat. He's just hanging right here. He's right here. Aren't you, buddy? Hey, Zach. I'm doing well. How are you, my friend? Yep. Dump out your drinks. Didn't happen yet. There's still 12 minutes left on this candle. It'll get there. It's going to go up now. Next one is green. Everybody agrees. RSI resetting. That move up. Yep. I reject this rejection. Oh, that's good. Oh, man.
They could end up joining in on these talks if they happen. Now, it does seem that Vladimir Putin does want to talk about some other topics as well, bringing some top business leaders from Russia with them. We're told even as many as hundreds of people in this Russian delegation if they go into these expanded talks. So this could go beyond perhaps the ceasefire into some kind of economic discussion.
I was just checking, Maramello.
Hunter, just lastly, too, we have a live picture inside the summit venue where the press conference will be held. Any idea how the press conference is going to go? How many questions might be posed?
All right. So they're just guessing about stuff. Nothing yet. First time this cycle I see people post about them selling on Reddit. Shouldn't be selling right now. The Pax Cat. Little solar magnetic interference on the magnet. I mean, it must know I'm thirsty, and it's just toying with me. It's just playing with me. So close. Yeah, buy another $100 worth. Let's get this price going back up. Agreed. If Reddit sells, that means we're poised for a huge run. Oh. Hurry up and wait. TikTok, TikTok. Come on. I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for this. Yes, PWR. Doge is looking very good. Despite the current little red candle going on. Toying with me it is. It's toying with me. Ha. It's the magnet's fault. Here, I'll make it bigger. There. All right, that'll do it. I just needed to make it bigger. Now we're talking. Come on. Donnie gifted a membership, and it goes to PWR. Hey, PWR. You're now a member of the channel for the next month. Congrats. You can feel it, Adam. You can feel the pull. It's working right through your screens. Doing only good every day, Mr. Donnie. You had a burger to eat there, DB? Nice. Nice, nice. ADA's still going up. Sideways. Nothing else is moving. Everything's kind of waiting to see what happens. Slight uptick on ETH and Bitcoin. Very slight. XRP as well. Up a little bit. All eyes on Doge. But it got rejected at 22.98. $22.98. Can you believe that? So close. Nobody else is responding. I think we got it figured out, though, between the 19B4 and the S1. So I think we're good. I think we are good. It's 6:08 right now. Yeah, that's a good thing from Cat Turd here. Whatever progress towards peace that we made today, I'm sure Sniffy the Clown will say or do something stupid to screw it all up. I agree. Total 2. Trump-Putin meeting still ongoing. That's good. That is good. We need more people who aren't purely Doge talking about Dogecoin, like Kook here, posting about Grayscale in their S1 for their ETF for Doge. So yeah. Let's go. For those that missed earlier, this was the two of them arriving before the talk started. And there was a flyover with the B2 as well. That magnet is not working, guys. It's 23 cents somewhere. Right. Time for Kriss to have a sip with the rest of us. I might as well, right? I might as well. I'll be right back.
All eyes on Doge. Big run up to the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big run up to the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.69. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin.
I'm back, my friends. Here we go. There's the bottle. I have to keep it away from the cat, which is taking up half of my desk here. Stupid cat. I'm joining you guys. I'm joining you guys. Here we go. Go. Nice little drink. Look at that red candle. Oh. Yeah, maybe it's a reverse magnet. It's the polarization is all wrong. Cheers, everybody. For $22.98. Ah. That's good. Brought the whole bottle in, just in case. Ah. Mm-mm. Let's go. Couldn't take it anymore. I know, right? Oh. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. You got an old-fashioned, Clayton? Nice. Cheers. Yep, bought the whole bottle. It's the maker's fault. I know, Donnie, right? Look at that. Wouldn't let it hit 23. No ice? Well, I was going to do a shot, but I think, you know, I'm streaming, so it's just no ice. Pure Jack Daniels. Next time, do without the cup, just the bottle. Oh, man. Oh. Cheers to the red candles. Oh. Yeah, I don't have any Coke. No Coke in the house, so it's just pure Jack. Well, there's the end of that candle, Donnie. It just ended red. So now we come back up. You'll have a shot of cranberry juice. Cheers, Duchess. I should have set the goal for $22.98. So close. Oh. Oh. Cuervo. No tariffs on that bad boy bottle. That is correct. Made in the USA. If I drank casually straight from the bottle, the chat would go nuts. Jack is the best. Pure Jack, yes, music. Cheers. Good stuff. Green candle. There you go, Donnie. It's coming back up. It's coming back. When you give me no room, Cat, you take up half of my desk. Good night, Nick. This is another replay from earlier. Oh, this is the one where they show the planes going overhead. If they show the same replay. Because all of a sudden it cuts to the B2. Together with like news out of the peace talks, it will be bullish. There's a lot of people gathering in the room here all of a sudden. No music. I can't play the music. Still going. But there's a lot of people all of a sudden getting ready in that press conference room. And it's still supposed to be like an hour away. 100% bullish. Kriss takes a shot. Doge shoots up to 31 cents. I know, right? Oh, Trump totally had that set up where the red carpet was, because he was already off the plane standing there, and there's another red carpet coming in right to Trump. Trump had it all set up that way. So Putin had to walk to Trump. No bottle will be safe around Kriss if Doge gets to $1. Woo. Well, yeah, I bought an RWA project called Peak, and the token has just done crap. It's retested the moving average, now going to break out. All right, Anthony. You like the buzzed version of Kriss? The same planes that were used in the attack on Iran. Nice. And I'm sure Trump told Putin that exactly. Here we go. We'll see. Still playing the music. But the people are, I mean, all the press is getting ready. Now it says soon joint news conference. This happened very fast. Press here for Trump-Putin joint presser. We're told to get in seats quickly. And it could begin as soon as 10 minutes from now. Earlier than expected. Both podiums set up. We will carry it live right here, guys. We will carry it live. They keep playing the stupid music. And I can't play the music. Chris's channel ain't all about crypto. Chats about other stuff too. I do when it's time. They're jockeying for positions. Well, no, we just saw. They were told 10 minutes. Get your seats. Get your seats. Green candle. Come on, Doge. Looking good. Looking good. United States Air Force rules the skies. I know, my friend, right? Those planes look impressive, especially that B-2. All people in crypto should be watching this stream right here. This is the place to be. This is the place to be. The Russian journalist accommodation all set up. There's a lot of them though, right? The meeting ended. All right. It looks like it's going to happen in about 5 minutes, Levi. I just can't play that stupid music. But we will carry it live. You need to turn the music off. Some is best. That's good. Rock, paper, scissors. Doge coming back up. Look at that. Look at that, Donnie. The power of the magnet. Doing only good every day. The meeting has ended conveniently for the Doge pump. Oh. Yep. Well said. Some is best. Well said. Do I have a limit, Derek? I'm not driving anywhere. I'm not driving. And I did bring the whole bottle in, so I'm pretty well stocked here for my liquid dinner. Maybe I'll pour another at 23. Zelensky was in the UK last I heard. Might be on his way back to Ukraine now. Some Fox, how are you? Patriotically rooting for Trump. I just want the war to end. I don't like wars. Aptos versus Sui. Well, they were both made by those ex-Facebook guys, right? That were making Libra. I think Sui has more of the Silicon Valley VCs behind it. So I'm betting on Sui. Arthur Hayes likes Aptos. But I think Sui. I said probably 2 years ago now, Sui was going to be a top 10 coin. It got close. And it could still make another run for it. But I sold all my Sui in January, took my profits. And I had Aptos for a little while. I don't remember whether I ended up selling for a profit or not. I think I made a slight profit on Aptos. But I made a lot on Sui. And I still hold a little bit of Sui in our KrissPax DCA portfolio. Oh, now people are leaving. The whole front row is open. Interesting. I like robot wars. Crazy Bear, I think there's some videos online in China. They just had a robot Olympics. I saw a couple clips of it. Looked kind of weird. Looked a little weird. Hold on just a minute. I'll be right back. All right. Just arranging dinner in the house. Arranging dinner. Yeah, what's going to happen here? What do we think? It's going to be positive? I think it's going to be positive. I've never been to Ireland. Russ, I've been to England. Been to England a couple times, but did not go up to Ireland. Someday. They're still playing the stupid music. Any moment now. News conference. Any moment now. Well, Galvin, we'll see. We will see. I want to go through Sweden and Norway as well. Yes. Northern countries. I do want to do that. I've been in most of Southern Europe. Didn't make it to Portugal. Didn't make it to Belgium, but hit just about every other country. Hi, Kurdistan. How are you? Green candles. For those just coming in, we do have confirmed the filing of the Grayscale Dogecoin Trust as a Form S1, which we found out is the follow-up to the 19B4, which sets the stage for Grayscale's ETF to be approved in October. So this is coming. This is coming for Dogecoin. So we got a nice little pump, made it to 22.98, not quite 23 cents, but it looks like it's ready to make another run for it. We are also watching what's happening in Anchorage, Alaska, because it looks like they're about to have the press conference with Trump and Putin, which is like the whole world's going to be watching it. So glad you're here live, because we're the only one that's going to have the price of Dogecoin on the screen the same time as we're watching the press conference. So there might be another stream that's showing Bitcoin. We're not doing that. We're showing Doge. Yes, Donnie, you confirmed the green candle. See, that red one was just a fake out. Just a fake out.
To figure out how he can get exactly what he wants. And that's some of his tradecraft, if you will, in avoiding saying something that would offend somebody or would cause problems, but at the same time to avoid committing to something that he doesn't want to commit. Yep. And I'm going to be listening to that very closely with his responses to see exactly what type of language he uses. Yep. And if he's using some of that delaying tactic stuff as opposed to addressing, the main issues at hand.
Yeah, I would imagine there's going to be some type of interplay between the two on the stage there. The psychology of all of this is quite fascinating. How back to the war, though? You have told me time and time again, Putin has no interest in ending this war. Mm-hmm. Will Trump have to convince him to end the war, that it's in Putin's interest to end the war? Do you think he'll try to do that?
The only way he can really do that is, and I do believe the threat of secondary sanctions does weigh heavily on him. His economy is not doing well. His economy is transitioned over to a war economy. Yeah. He's basically drawn down on their sovereign wealth fund in order to pay for that. The other part of it's being paid for with oil and gas revenues. That's oil exports that goes to countries like India and China. Now you've seen what President Trump, what the U.S. has done with tariffs on India. A lot of that is aimed at telling India, hey, quit funding the war, Russia's war against Ukraine. We haven't done quite the same. We have pretty substantial tariffs, I should say, with China. But part of that is due to the fact that we're in the middle of some very significant trade negotiations with China. So I don't think they wanted to throw a proverbial wrench into those negotiations at this point.
So how?
But those tariffs are significant.
So, Hal, I'm sorry to be pessimistic on this question on sanctions.
I don't know the Russian flag.
Economy.
It doesn't say.
We would have seen that over the last 3.5 years. I mean, they have weathered that in some respect.
It doesn't say.
I got to say this. They have adapted very quickly to a lot of different sanctions. Okay. And I'm not saying they wouldn't try to adapt to these sanctions as well. In fact, what I would assume is if we were to put these draconian sanctions in place on China,
did I pick the right one?
That they would find some creative way to circumvent that, to have oil get essentially laundered, if you will, around the world so it could get to them. It would be very difficult to do in the short term. In the long term, I think they could do some, but it would be a lot tougher than getting the oil direct. And in the meantime, Russia would be experiencing a significant loss of revenue that could go into the war effort. So with that, long story short, if we were to impose those sanctions, say today, it would be a very tough fall for Russia from a lot of different ways. The other thing too, which is kind of hanging out there, and
Up
it's
to
been addressed this
22.90.
week several times, is the prospect of liquidating those frozen Russian assets. That $300 billion in frozen Russian assets. $230 billion of that is actually held by European countries. They can liquidate that without the U.S. if they wanted to. The U.S. holds about $26 billion. You may recall that there was a co-sponsored bill with Senator Murkowski from Alaska, where she actually had built into an aid $54 billion aid program or bill for Ukraine. That 26 of that was going to come from liquidating the assets, those Russian assets the U.S. holds. So that's another thing that President Trump could talk about.
Cheers.
If Ukraine was able to get, say, 80 billion or 100 billion or something a year from those frozen assets, then Putin would be looking at diminished oil revenue, a sovereign wealth fund disappearing, and Ukraine having a lot of money to buy arms, ammunition, everything.
Doug.
Those things put together, that
There you go,
have a
okay.
substantial impact on Putin.
Does that do it for you, Doug?
All right. Meredith McGraw at the Wall Street Journal has some reporting of who's in the room. Saying press was quickly moved into the auditorium. Some of President Trump's senior aides are seated for the press conference, including Stephen Chung, Natalie Harp, Dick Luna, Margot Martin, Will Sharp, and James Blair. On the Russian side, she sees Kirill Dmitriev. Hal, what do we know about him? He's been somewhat front and center during some of these talks over the last 6 months. Dmitriev, what's his role in all of this?
Well, he's been, yeah, as you said, he's been front and center with the talks. He's been in the middle of this whole thing.
That's a
all
dumb
the way
thing to
around.
say, Calvin.
That he's sitting there waiting for the press conference tells me.
Don't like that one.
And I'm not, it was 3-on-3. I don't know if there was three in the room itself. I don't know if they had anybody at the back seats, shall we say. He would be someone I would expect to have in the back seats, or somebody who would be standing by if there was a question that came up during the discussions. The fact that he's actually out there in the press conference room waiting for these remarks tells me whatever role he was playing in the background, he doesn't have to play anymore. That they have worked out whatever they're going to work out for this particular session, this particular meeting, this particular summit, and that his expertise is not needed.
Bitcoin is drifting up to 117.5.
For anything else that's being done. So I find that kind of interesting.
ETH still
that
at
he's out there. The fact that he's out there
4,440.
standing by tells me they've kind of wrapped up whatever the meeting is here, and we're just literally waiting for President Trump and Putin to come out and say whatever it is they're going to say.
Well, I've asked you so many times, and for viewers who don't know, you have been with us since the very start of this war. You were on with us the night of the very invasion in February of 2022. I always ask you, when will Putin budge, and how will Putin budge? Up until now, he has expressed no desire to end this war, nor have the people around him. So what gives? What will be any, concession that he may?
I didn't delete the message, Kronos. There was probably a word in there that's on my naughty list. YouTube automatically deleted it.
What does that mean?
So there was some word in there that was a naughty
What's
list.
kind of interesting with Putin, if I could address that first part.
I didn't physically delete it.
I honestly, and I remember vividly what happened in 1991. That was a big year for me. I mean, first off, we had a little thing called Desert Storm you may have heard of. I spent some time over there, came back, and I remember this rapid change of events. 89 through 91 was just an amazing.
So we're waiting for this news conference to happen any minute now. We have the Dogecoin chart up on the screen here. Just a little bit ago, we came very close to 23 cents and got rejected at 22.98. And now we're making a second run here. We're going to see, based on the news conference, if it's going to pump crypto or dump crypto. That's what we're going to be watching.
What happens on the streets of Moscow and St. Petersburg. There is that saying, and I know I've said it.
I know, Orbit. It's starting to pile up, isn't it?
And I'm going to call Putin a dictator. Dictators always look like they're never going to be displaced until the last 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden everything disappears. He knows that dynamic. He knows Russian history. He knows what's happened in Russian history, that if the system that props him up, that keeps his regime in power, falls, it will fall very quickly. So what that means, bring you back a little bit, is that President Trump has to say things, not directly saying you're going to be overthrown or something like that, but has to say things that Putin understands could create a situation where the Russian people have just had enough. And I think that's what would scare Putin. That would get Putin to budge, if you will, is if he was seriously concerned that the dynamic.
All right, we got a poll.
That could threaten.
See what you guys think.
Survival, if you will, which could be physical survival too.
Oh, that should say news conference. Sorry. News conference.
I think there's just like a human element to this. Putin is 72 years old. He knows he's not going to live forever. Maybe he doesn't know that. That, you know, the long term of all of this, we always say Putin plays the long game. That at some certain points, it will have to end or morph into something else.
You know, you think that. I don't know if sometimes I wonder if some world leaders think that they're going to live forever.
We shall see. Yes, some
We've seen
Fox.
a number of very famous world leaders literally die in office. You know, they never.
Everybody vote in the poll. It's news
At
conference.
some point here, I'm going to have to leave. But
What's
he
going to
was
happen?
around. He says, but that point is not today. It could be 3 years from now, 6 years from now, 9 years from now, whatever. So I don't think he's planning his immediately vacating that office by any stretch. I think he thinks he's going to be there for a while. I do think that he thinks he can right now he thinks that Russia can outlast the resolve of the West. And he has
Pumps are winning.
view of the West that others have had too. Saddam Hussein had this view. Others that, you know, more famously, Osama bin Laden had this view that the United States or the West.
Well, we know some Fox. If they're having a meeting, at least Trump didn't walk away and get on his plane and fly back to Washington, right? So the meeting went at least that far. So that's positive. To me, that's positive.
That they go in there with determination, with control, and they break the democracies. And I just think that's a fallacy that they have. I think democracies are actually far more resilient than authoritarian countries. I think the give and take dynamic is what makes us. When we turn hard. And I've seen this. I certainly saw it on 9/11. You know, I saw it with Desert.
My glass is not half full. My glass is almost empty. I may have to pour another. Hey, Jay, what's up? We're about to have a news conference with Trump and Putin.
This entire meeting have said it's a propaganda victory for Putin. But you acknowledge that was going to happen either way, depending on how the meeting went. And we're getting some reporting on how the meeting went from the Russian side, according to Fox's Brett there, that it has gone somewhat well. I'm paraphrasing. And so we'll just have to
skip the glass, just go to the bottle.
But for that question,
Cheers, everybody. I brought the whole bottle in for a reason, right? Three fingers.
I was echoing some of
Right.
the comments and the reporting from Brett there, signaling from the Russian side, saying that the meeting has gone well.
Ramon is super bullish because he wants to make a lot of money, Mr. T. That's all. He's all in. He wants to make a lot of money, so he's super bullish.
You acknowledge that too, but you said that's beside the point at this point.
I think it really is a side point. You know, look, if let's look at it this way. You know, where to hold the.
They're
meeting.
filming some guy coming in.
Sorry, just to interrupt here. We just saw Steve Witkoff enter the room.
Steve
Oh,
Witkoff.
wow. Okay.
So we just had U.S. Special Envoy Witkoff enter the room there. So things could be moving along quite rapidly. We'll get back to that question.
There's Caitlin Collins doing her CNN thing.
Actually, the sound in the room briefly. You see there some of the American reporters doing their stand-ups. You see there Caitlin Collins with CNN, here Alexander with NBC, and Hal Kemper is still with me. So had to note that for the viewers, Hal, Steve Witkoff now in the room. You also see some
From the cap?
delegation in the front row on the left-hand side as well.
I know, right, Ramon?
But we wait for the principals, obviously.
There will be no word ceasefire.
I haven't seen them yet. Once we do,
I don't think, I'm not expecting the word ceasefire.
in its entirety. We'll see how many questions each of these leaders takes. But Hal, Putin does have quite the coterie of Russian press traveling with him, does he not?
He does, and I fully expected something like that. And to go back to your previous question, this is a propaganda win. There's no two ways about it. Just to have this meeting is a propaganda win. My understanding, what kind of has been seeping out of Washington D.C. on this is that President Trump did not really want to go back to the Middle East again. He'd had that really big trip back there. And so going to the UAE or Doha for something like this wasn't that great. And the problem that Putin had, of course, is that he's got a international criminal court warrant. So there's not that many places he can actually go.
About to have the press conference. I'm new.
But to have him come to the U.S.,
we're waiting to see.
You get into the dynamics of where do you hold this thing? Wherever he went, it was going to be some sort of propaganda victory. And I don't think you can have a meeting with President Trump and Putin without Putin considering his pariah status on the international stage, without that being some sort of propaganda victory for Russia. On the other hand, if they had not done all these things, like the red carpet, the driving together, all these things, that's to build rapport. That's to try and work through some of those issues. That's to build an assessment of where they were going to go.
Morgan, hello.
And obviously, President Trump was saying he'd know within the first couple of minutes if this was going to go bad. Well,
Megal won't pop.
By the time the first couple of minutes was over, they were done with the ride in the car, so we would have known right away.
I don't think Megal's going to be popping.
So I think, propaganda thing, but the other thing is they're trying to get Putin to do something he doesn't want to do.
Megal's a big nothing burger today.
I don't think he really wants to end.
I'll keep my eyes on the stocks.
To constellate everything to somehow.
It is a Friday after market.
That this is the time. This is when you have to do something.
Usually there's no trading in the stock market Friday night.
Trying to recognize
But I'll keep my eye on it.
Looks like a little sharp there in the front row. So Hal, interesting to note, on the way to...
I know, the blonde there is...
With the leader of Belarus, Lukashenko. Now,
what do you think she's doing? Making her dinner reservations?
By surprise. I tell you, I'm trying to think the last president that talked to Lukashenko. This is just not somebody you talk to. Of course, he is kind of a proxy.
I know, this is big. This is like the whole world is watching this.
Is only in power because Russia backs him, and Russia's made it pretty clear that
the whole world is watching this. Thank you for spending your time here with me on YouTube.
But I think the reason he called him was he was trying to...
We're going to see how the markets react to the words that are said, because Dogecoin will definitely be an indicator. We'll take a look at Bitcoin and ETH too, but Dogecoin being more volatile will definitely show us better what the reaction is.
Would be, Xi in China. I think that would not work out too well. And then, of course, Kim Jong-un, I think that would be a complete waste of time to talk to Kim Jong-un about anything. But talking to Lukashenko, he might be able to give him some sort of assessment as to what was going on. And I think,
thanks, Ramon.
To, as he said,
thanks, everybody.
Kind of an interesting term, a feel-out session.
23 cents is inevitable. I believe that.
Before he actually landed in Alaska.
I'm glad I already had the first drink, though.
There's some reporting out there to suggest President Trump may be on the phone with them and the Ukrainian side as we speak. We'll wait for more confirmation on that. I would imagine they're going to be watching this live, but they will be getting their own readouts.
That would make sense. Trump is calling Zelensky
that is a very good sign
to tell Zelensky what was talked about before the press conference.
The big three he's talking to, would obviously be, Starmer, Macron, over in Germany, and then of course President Zelensky. But there might be some sort.
If anybody wants to tweet out this live stream, share it on social media. Appreciate it. This is going to be the place to be.
I'm going to stay hopeful, and I'm hoping he's sharing with them something that was.
Thanks, Cam.
That was very positive that came out of the meeting.
Now, if there is a breakthrough, the question is, will Ukraine accept that? All right, we do have the photographers getting ready. Okay, Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister.
A lot of people only buy and sell after hours or pre-market. I'm new. And that's the best time for Meggle. I've made more money with Meggle after hours and pre-market, not during normal trading time.
This press conference, you also see Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on hand, CIA Director John Ratcliffe.
I can tweet this.
Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary.
Sure.
And let's see here. Trying to recognize Caroline Levitt there, the White House Press Secretary. So all parties from the U.S. side are now in the room, except, of course, the principal himself, President Trump. So we wait for Trump and Putin. It looks like this is happening imminently here. Hal Kemper, stay on the line. We're chatting with you on the very back end once the press conference wraps. We thank you so much, Andrew Kraft, back here in the anchor chair as we are watching now. Back end once the press conference wraps. We thank you so much, Andrew Kraft, back here in the press conference in Anchorage, Alaska. So this is almost happening. The moment we've been waiting for, obviously the moment you see there. Okay, Secretary of State Rubio, Steve Witkoff, remember they were in the room with President Trump. It was 3-on-3. We know it lasted nearly 3 hours. You see there Secretary of State Rubio kind of handing it up to the cameras. And so now we wait for President Trump, Vladimir Putin. This is happening imminently at any moment. Let's listen in.
Okay, I just posted it.
Okay, so this is, like I said, it's happening at any moment where we will let you watch uninterrupted the entire press conference there in Anchorage, Alaska. Remember, this all came together in 1 week's time. We brought you the news 1 week ago.
I just posted it on X. If anybody wants to repost it, retweet it, whatever.
So somewhat hastily arranged. But to Hal Kemper's point, is there a breakthrough? That is the question. What has been agreed upon, if anything? And if anything, will the Ukrainians agree to that? Remember, they're the other party in this war. Though they may not be there in person right now, they will be getting a readout. The fate of their country hangs in the balance as they continue to face Russian attacks and Russian aggression.
Yeah, I'm just ignoring Galvin now.
2 words there, smack that available. Pursuing peace, only 2 words. A simple statement, not all that easy, as so many who have tried.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America and the President of the Russian Federation.
Here we go. There they are.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We had very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank
23
once
cents.
again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska.
Cheers, everybody.
It only makes sense that we've met
I
here.
know, right, Donnie?
Because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I've said, "Good afternoon, dear neighbor. Very good to see you. In good health and to see you alive." I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the US island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the US, and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the US pilots. And there are two flags, the US flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well, there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the US for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other and facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the US for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue. Naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work, and this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the president, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict, and his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict. And we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we are prepared to work on that. I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress. Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that the US and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the US can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration. We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible, and our international context, for example, between the Far East of Russia and the West Coast of the US. Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation. It is symbolic that not far away from here, the border between Russia and the US, there is a so-called international date line. I think you can step over literally from yesterday into tomorrow. And I hope we'll succeed in that. in political sphere. I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the US. And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good business-like and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was
Okay, and now Trump
very
talks
profound.
and the
I
market
will
dumps.
say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on. Most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate. And I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Ratcliffe. Thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here. And I think, everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time. And we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax that made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, whose faces, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good, productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. No. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Putin talks, green candles, Trump talks,
Okay, wow.
big red
So
candle.
this is what we just watched there. Statements from Trump and
Unbelievable.
speaking first. No questions taken by reporters.
It ends up
in the summit venue in Anchorage.
up and down.
This was
Look
not
at that.
expected.
Trump just
Any joint press conference
has to go and say things like, well, we didn't get it all done, or if he didn't say that.
They did not just do that here. President Trump saying that meetings were productive, some things were agreed to, but not the things they came for. Putin saying that the
Man.
were productive here.
I know, right? One speech full of lies. The other speech wasn't a speech.
This is quite something. Let's go back out live to our vantage point there.
It is what it is, right?
How Denver is still standing by here.
No, I don't think it's going to dump. I think it's just going to like settle right here.
But in the meantime, like I said, this was not expected. This was very good.
What's everything else doing? Yeah, Bitcoin up and down. ETH up and down. Solana up and down, right? That's what we were joking about just a few minutes ago, right? Putin would talk green candles. Trump starts talking red candles. Ugh. Isn't that something? So in the end, the correct vote on the poll was a nothing burger. Nothing burger was the correct vote because Putin was pumping it and Trump ended up dumping it right back. The Trump effect, exactly, right? Unbelievable. Well, I guess not unbelievable. So what's Zelensky and Ukraine going to do? That'll be interesting. The effect on crypto tonight, I think everything's just going to settle down and probably go a little sideways from here, would be my guess. I don't think we're going to get much more about news over the weekend. I don't know if the EU, the UK, or Ukraine, Zelensky are going to make any statements after that or not. We'll see. Putin invited Trump to come to Moscow, said it in English, which was nice. So, yeah, right back to where we started. So, a little pump with Putin, a little dump with Trump, and there we are. So, if anybody was thinking there would be a ceasefire or a complete peace deal, no, that was never even on the table, because you knew that, because Zelensky wasn't there, Ukraine wasn't there. This was more about Trump understanding where Russia and Putin thought on the whole deal, as well as talking some trade, economics, things like that. And I'm sure Trump has a better understanding now of where Putin and Russia are coming from, which can certainly help in peace negotiations going forward, I think. So we'll see. Yeah, nothing burger was the right vote, Northern Orbit. Nothing burger was the right vote. And again, this price, is really just, it's short-term, temporary. You zoom out on Bitcoin and you look at the 4-year cycles and we just have so much higher to go for Bitcoin. We have so much higher to go for altcoins. As I've been saying, I think this fall is going to be fantastic for crypto trading and price escalation. That is all coming. And even for Doge. Now, I mean, Bitcoin Census is calling for $2 Dogecoin. And I'm like, okay, that's probably a little too bullish. I don't think that's realistic at this point as we're sitting here at 23 cents. But am I bullish on Dogecoin? Absolutely. I'm bullish on Dogecoin. So this next big run that's going to come this fall, I think is going to be epic. This is a short-term chop. Again, the summer of chop, I've called it. And this is just another chapter as to where we are. So, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Crazy Bear. Yep, I will enjoy my dinner. Hope you do as well. Sideways is okay. That's all right. You voted nothing burger. You were hoping for a pump, but exactly. We all would love to see big green candles, but the realism comes, right? And just says, yeah, realistically, yeah. Yes, bullish news, ETF about Doge. If you're interested in what that is, check out my X account where I reposted DA Sales here, who had the best post about what Grayscale is doing with their Form S1 in the SEC. So that's what got Doge pumping earlier, which was very nice. But the Trump effect is definitely hitting right now, kind of putting a little damper on things. So we have that going on with Bitcoin as well. Yeah, like someone said earlier in the chat, right? We should just kept Putin and that interpreter just talking. And if they had just kept going on for hours, we just kept seeing green candles up and up and up, right? And then Trump starts talking and dump. Oh, man. All right, gang. Hey, I'm going to be live tomorrow. On Saturday, we're going to follow up on what's happened since now. Make sure you're subscribed. You got your notifications on as always. Give a like. And hey, this video will become, or this live stream will become a video after I'm done. You can always leave a comment below on any follow-up thoughts you might have. Hope everyone has a great evening. We'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.